Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Decoding Now, and I'm Meghna Deka. Well, everybody's been warning that AI is coming for your job and that it's just a matter of time. But the AI boom story glosses over just how AI lacks human experience, it cannot adapt and pivot like a human can, and the cost of it all, at times is even higher than hiring humans. In fact, some of the biggest auto and tech giants who bet big on AI and fired their employees are now rehiring those very humans. Well, tonight we will decode is AI takeover inevitable. It isn't as simple as it all appears. We are going to be decoding for you 5 key questions that we are going to put up on your screens. 5 key questions that faces not just us, faces humanity. What are the 5 questions? First, is an AI takeover inevitable? Why did Ford fire, then rehire 300 of its engineers? Why did IBM dump AI for humans? Is AI too costly for Microsoft? And how long will AI boom last? This, incidentally, and this is a fun fact, this is a graphics which has been made wholly by AI, artificial intelligence. There has been no intervention except for the prompts which have been given to make this graphics. Because we need to understand what exactly can AI do, but more importantly, what is it that it can't do? Well, let's start with Ford, for example. That's one of the best examples you can get. Well, the American auto giant decided to automate the quality checks of its cars. So first you had Ford installing 9,000 AI cameras in its manufacturing unit. It assigned with the task to visually inspect the cars and to flag the defects. The system was fed with Ford's standard design requirements. Then what happened? Well, 300 senior engineers were consequently sacked by Ford. Or rather, should I say, they were replaced by AI tools. Well, very soon the system fell short. It lacked something no camera can possibly replicate, which is judgment. Judgment that comes from years of experience. Ford then rehired all its engineers. And that is how the cookie crumbled. Well, the company acknowledged this themselves. In fact, their changing stance on AI between June 2025 and July 2026 tells you everything you need to know. Let's tell you what exactly it says. Well, first, in June, and these flip-flops will be important for you to understand. In June last year, you had the Ford CEO, Jim Farley, come out and say AI will leave white-collar jobs behind. Then it slowly changed. Next came by October 2025, you had Kumar Galhotra, who was the CEO of Ford, who said that we are now deploying 900 AI-powered cameras in order to automate the entire system. He says this will detect quality issues at the source itself and help us mitigate supply disruptions. That's when over 300 engineers were fired subsequently. But now, from October to July 2026, you have Charles Poon, who's the VP of Engineering. He says, we were mistaken to think that AI alone can ensure quality. He went on to say that AI lacks training and the expertise of veteran engineers. He also said that humans now have been rehired. The same engineers who were fired, now many of them have been rehired to train the AI tools better. But the most common hit sector, which is that of AI wave, is that of customer service. Everyone's saying that once customer service is automated, it's going to be faster, it's going to be cheaper, much more efficient to deal with customers. Just put everything on automation. But is that always the dream story? Well, here's the problem. This is Commonwealth Bank of Australia that we are going to give you a textbook example of. Well, just last year, you had the CBA introduce AI voice bots in its customer service network. Essentially, if you'd call the bank, you'd get AI bots replying to you. The bank at the time fired 45 customer service staff. They lost their jobs overnight. However, the bank found out that the AI chat box lacked what it called critical logic. Human beings have that automated for us. Critically, we look at a problem, we analyze it, and we think about it. Humans were brought in to identify the nuanced business considerations. Customers were struggling to find solutions as well. Calls were increasing and the entire system got swamped. The Commonwealth Bank of Australia had to rehire all the 45 customer care agents simply because, well, there was no other way. Now, International Business Machines, popularly known as IBM, this is the next example we are getting for you, ran into the same wall when it replaced humans with AI in its HR department. In fact, the system handled about 94 of the routine employee requests with great ease. 96% was fine. But for the remaining 6%, the ones which were involving ethical dilemmas, the AI failed completely. IBM had to course correct immediately. They have said that in 2026, they're going to triple the number of entry-level hirings. That's also important. It's entry-level, not the senior management ones. Entry-level jobs are going to be tripled in this year of 2026 after this experience by IBM. Let's also look at Microsoft. Well, Microsoft's challenge was quite different. In 2025, the company invested about $13 billion in OpenAI. It then further placed its bet on Anthropic, investing $5 billion in the company. It gave thousands of its people, engineers, product managers, designers, and even folks in non-technical roles, access to Claude. Well, the idea was to let them experiment and start coding it. But in 2026, Microsoft flipped. It canceled the access to Claude for all its employees. Why? Because the subscription charges of AI mounted up. It was so very expensive even for Microsoft that they found that it was cheaper to pay the salaries of its employees than to buy subscription for Claude. In fact, let me introduce to you Diella. Now, this is the successful experiment that we are getting for you. Well, we are guessing it's going to be successful. Diella is the world's first artificial intelligence power minister. Yes, you can see that, right? This is in Albania. She is dressed in traditional Albanian attire. Diella is not a person. She's actually a robot. In fact, she is powered entirely by OS and 1S. And she has been entrusted with one of the governance's most challenging mandates, which is fighting corruption in Albania. Let's tell you what Diella can do and what she cannot do. The biggest advantage of Diella is that the decisions that she takes is based completely on facts. There's no fear, there is no favor, only facts. Also, Diella can possibly, the second advantage is, help curb graft, especially when it comes to the public sector. Third advantage, that the stop laundering from drugs as well as arms smuggling is something which is expected for Diella to do. We are going to put up the visuals of Diella there on your screens as well. In fact, she also is AI generated, as I was telling you. The AI generated minister will be incorruptible. Literally, no one can corrupt a virtual AI bot at the end of it. Also, she's expected to curtail graft and senior levels of governance. And also, tech now is going to be an active participant in governance. But like all AI models, all AI tools, Diella too has her limitations. What are the limitations? Well, this is exactly where the struggles really begin. The big questions around Diella's ability to lead a ministry like a human being. First, what happens if Diella gets hacked? Then if she gets hacked, it will give illegal access to anyone who manages to hack the system. Second, can a government design an AI bot which is free of all interference without any kind of supervision? Also, third problem, can an AI bot, it may not be bribable, but it may be reprogrammed. What if someone simply hacks in, reprograms Diella the way that they want it to favor them? Who will be accountable is the next big question. If AI bots, well, there are some problems with the work. There's zero accountability that can be fixed. Fifth, what if AI minister manipulates the system? Because many are saying that AI is now thinking for itself. The bots can think for itself. Next problem, can AI actually replace human empathy in governance? After all, at times, it's not just about the hard facts. It's not just about the numbers. It's also about empathy. Empathy in governance, which is going to be the keystone. Those are the questions which we'll have to wait and watch as Diella takes over. Well, the debate has even divided the CEOs, in fact. Those who are directly and indirectly impacted by AI, and the notions could be more conflicting. In fact, we are going to take you through what AI's biggest stakeholders are actually saying about it. Well, let's tell you. You have first Dario Amodei, the Anthropic CEO, who says AI will kill 50% of the entry-level jobs. You have the Nvidia CEO who says that jobs will evolve, hirings will also hike. So they disagree. He thinks that there is going to be a hike in hirings. Then you have the JP Morgan Chase CEO who says 20% back office jobs are going to be automated very soon. And then you have the BlackRock CEO who says AI is going to be restructuring. It is not going to be killing any jobs. Then you have a Nobel laureate, Geoffrey Hinton, who says that AI is going to replace many and many jobs. Then you have David Solomon, who says, of the Goldman Sachs CEO, who says that AI job apocalypse is overblown, that it is overblown to say that there's going to be an absolute apocalypse. That's not going to happen. So as you can see, everyone's split over what is going to be the impact. So what can we conclude from the CEOs? AI is expected to replace some jobs, but will it really create job in the process? The consensus is that AI will transform work, not simply eliminate it. And that World Economic Forum's numbers really back that up. What does it say? Let's tell you. Here are the numbers, and this is coming in from the World Economic Forums. How will AI impact jobs? As per this report, it says that 170 million new jobs will be created by 2030, and 92 million jobs are going to be displaced by 2030. So essentially, due to AI, there'd still be a net of 78 million additional jobs globally, which are expected to be created. So it's not all bad. But let's also look at who really stands most vulnerable to this wave of AI. Will you, for example, lose your job? Let's tell you. Well, 40%, as per the employers, 40% of the employers are saying they are likely to cut the number of jobs they have for humans and use AI wherever automation is possible. And which ones are going to be hit the most? It's going to be the entry-level jobs which are going to be hit the most. 53% of entry-level market research analysts are expected to lose their jobs, be impacted by it. Also, 67% entry-level tasks which were done by sales representatives are also likely to be greatly impacted by it. But if you look at the manager-level jobs, those are likely to be safer rather than the entry-level, because only 9% of the market research managers are likely to be hit by AI. And when it comes to the next one that we are going to tell you, only 21% of the sales managers are likely going to be hit by the AI wave. So there you have it. It seems to be some good, some bad. Some are believing and now realizing that, well, AI and humans, different, yet same. What's replaceable, what's not? Let's open up the debate. Let's go across to our panelists. Joining us today on the show, we have Sanskar Arora. He's an AI expert. And we have Himanshu Saxena, who's joining us. He is an AI adoption strategist. So I'm going to start with you first, Himanshu. Himanshu, do you think everyone's going to be losing our jobs? Even for me, I know now you have AI anchors. I don't think I can be replaced, but am I living in a bubble? You're on mute, Himanshu. If you can just unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. Well, the numbers that you quoted, right? A fraction of, and in some cases, a bigger chunk of some of the roles may not exist. And we are already seeing that happen. But again, if you go back to the numbers, we haven't really seen anything being completely replaced by AI, which requires a sense of judgment, which requires opinion. I mean, the fact that we come and listen to you is because we want to know how you feel about a certain thing, right? As an anchor, I want to know what's your opinion so that I can frame my opinions. If I just wanted to read facts, maybe I'll just open, there's different portals to read a news. So just to answer your question, not everybody should fear. However, you definitely need to upskill yourself. The game it's still the same game, but with a new set of rules.
The game may be the same, but the rules have all changed. What are the rules? Sanskar Arora, what as per you is going to be first hit likely hit, and do you think it's sustainable?
Yeah. So, what I think is that some repetitive jobs will definitely be automated. But I also think that AI is also creating entirely new roles, like AI trainers, AI auditors, governance specialists, as you quoted previously. There's some human in the loop experts as well. So I feel that the history shows us that every technological revolution changes jobs more than it eliminates them.
So it changes more than rather eliminating. But Himanshu, I'm going to circle back to you. You had touched upon it about creating a different kind of a job. What are these jobs which are likely to be created? Because the World Economic Forum says there are going to be additional jobs which are going to be created with the impact of AI. So what are these jobs? People need to know that.
Just some context on it. If we go back a couple of decades ago when there was only radio, so there were news anchors on radio.
Yes.
But then when TV channels came in, there was still maybe some same set of people, some new people telling the same news, but the platform changed. So you required a different set of skill. Now, if you look at engineering, with AI, I think the first thing that we saw a couple of years ago was everybody was talking about AI engineering, which was nothing but you being able to create AI tools. Now there are more things coming up like, people are talking about harness engineering, which is nothing but how can you create AI in a more cheaper and efficient way. So same skill set, same engineering, same coding, but the nuances are going to change. With one additional thing which is going to see a massive upside in the number of roles which are going to open up is around the chipset technology. I mean, because AI requires a lot of chips, it requires its own infrastructure to run.
Absolutely.
So the number of people required there would change. Yeah, absolutely. So the number of people required there would change. So yeah, I think just learning more on AI.
Sanskar, do you think that's going to be one of the biggest make or break point? Because everyone needs to understand AI is very expensive. If Microsoft had to revoke even the cloud subscription, goes to say it's not going to be a cheap bill. At times they found that it's easier to hire humans rather than buy these subscriptions for AI tools.
Yeah. So I think that today AI is at its best, but when it works alongside humans, not instead of humans. So definitely AI can, I think, automate a lot of repetitive tasks extremely well. But the engineering judgment built over 20 or 30 years cannot, I think, simply be replaced. So AI does provide speed, but the human provides judgment. So if you were to take an example, the Ford example, how they adopted the AI, but again, they rehired all these engineers. So what I think that the Ford is becoming more mature by, again, rehiring their experienced engineers. So they came to realize that the repetitive jobs cannot be replaced directly by AI. So there's definitely a human in the loop should also definitely be there.
And also, should we be looking at what is the nature of job which is likely to be automated? Because Himanshu, when I first read that story, that Ford had sacked so many people, about 300 of their veteran engineers who were supposed to do the safety checks, then AI failed. Ironically, AI failed the safety check of Ford. That made me wonder, should we be worried as consumers as well if we have cars which were checked not by humans but by automation? There are certain boundaries that we need to draw. Safety of human beings should be perhaps on top of that list.
Absolutely. And for the very same reason, we still haven't transferred governance to AI yet. It's still something which humans are taking care of. If
Albania has actually, Himanshu. Albania, I was just telling our viewers about Diella. She's going to be the first virtual minister of Albania because she cannot be corruptible. I still reserve my judgment on her because she's also reformatable. She's also hackable. But yeah, let's give Diella the fact that she's not corruptible, Himanshu.
It's an experiment. See, I mean, if we very simplistically, if we understand what's AI, so AI, like you look at any model, it is trained on all of past data, now, all or some of past data. Now let's take any writing or language writing tool that is created, any AI tool that helps you write.
Right.
Let's say, and we all understand majority of the content on the internet is not high quality writing. So if any model is trained on all of content which is written all over the world, which is of course not high quality, you can expect the kind of output that you will get. Like if you're trained on substandard data, that's the kind of output that you get. So how good an AI model is
how much
efficient it is. Exactly. And when it comes to AI, when it comes to the Ford example, the Ford scenario, basically what has happened is, as humans, we try to take decision based on the best of information which is available to us. So at a certain point, the best information that we had was AI is coming to replace you. And you needed a budget to experiment with it. And where did that budget come from? You had to cut it from, unfortunately, from the human resources, from the people who were actually working. But then when you had new set of information which tells you that this is incomplete, so now you're acting on that piece of information. So I think, yeah, in hindsight, it did hurt a lot of people, but that's the way to go. That's how knowledge works.
So we are completely out of time. So one quick question I'll take from both of you. Do you think this AI boom is sustainable? Yes or no? Sanskar, I'll start with you.
Let's just circle back to the AI mistakes, or how the AI mistakes are happening in the manufacturing sector. So people usually talk about, I think, AI hallucinations in chatbots.
Yes.
But in manufacturing, again, an AI mistake means, missing a defect or rejecting a perfectly good component that directly affects quality, customer trust, and even safety.
Right.
So,
will it stay?
Example from the
Will the boom stay?
I think yes.
Yes?
Yeah, it will.
It's here to stay. Himanshu, do you think it's here to stay?
It is a technology in making, and technologies evolve at a rate way faster than we humans. So we should expect some very big new changes to happen. But yes, humans will always be important. Otherwise, who's going to operate those AI?
Yeah, that's what I feel. I don't see how they can be fully replaced. But Sanskar and Himanshu, pleasure having you here. Speaking to human, we can also put up the red flags of technology, even as though I've used a lot of AI in my show. And we are, via technology, broadcasting this show. But yes, that doesn't mean we can't red flag the problems as well, perhaps in future. Thank you so much, Sanskar, Himanshu. With that, we wrap up Decoding Now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. right here on Times Now.